Newcastle United, Eddie Howe, big night for them in the Champions League. Is he an elite manager yet, Eddie Howe?
No.
What does he need to do to become an elite manager in your eyes, Gab?
I think needs to qualify for the Champions League for 2 more seasons, I'd say, and win a trophy, domestic cup at least. It's tough to win the Champions League, obviously. So much big teams in the Champions League, but unlucky last season, losing the final to Manchester United. But they need to win a trophy. It's been too long. There's some Newcastle fans that would rather win a trophy than qualify for the Champions League.
I totally get that.
Yeah,
if you're a massive club like Newcastle and you've been starved of success for so long, you've got to get back on that run, get back on that ladder.
And I think a lot of teams are jealous of West Ham last season. Winning
Without
that trophy. I was
doubt.
jealous as a Villa fan.
Yeah.
You know, watching what the West Ham fans went through, the enjoyment of winning that trophy, and you can't beat winning trophies as football fans.
He's ahead of schedule though, Eddie Howe, right?
Oh, massively. I'm like you, and I feel everyone, if they don't say they did, they're lying. Everyone thought Eddie Howe be brought in a couple of years, and then next manager comes. A bit like Man City, you know, when Mark Hughes come in, and then it was like, all right, then you stay for a little bit. Bigger manager comes
even
in.
Like Pellegrini came in, you're still thinking they're going to go for the big dog.
Bigger one, and then they finally did with Pep. But that isn't going to happen now at Newcastle. I feel the football they're playing, they're attractive, and what I like about Eddie Howe is that he's not afraid to change it. You know, he'll play Murphy on the right if he needs to, and he'll drop Almiron, and he will mix and match the players he's got available. So he's doing an outstanding job.
I also think he gets so much out of players. So for say when they signed Anthony Gordon, I was a little bit like when Chelsea went in for him. I think they had £60 million turned down, and I was like, I think he's a good young player, but I don't see it. And he's gone there, and now he's starting to look like the player that everyone assumed he was. Joe Linton looks like a totally different player. You know, even like Kieran Trippier. Who I thought, maybe he's past his best. They're paying a lot of money. They've given him a long-term deal. You know, one of the best right-backs in the Premier League at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, of course. You know, his delivery on the ball outstanding, and when he needs to, he can defend. But I look at Eddie Howe, and I feel that players like Gordon coming in, Eddie Howe's probably saying to him, I've got Isak that can play on the left. I've got Barnes that can play on the left. I've got Murphy that can play on the left if needed.
Barnes,
So if you're not at it, you're not playing. And that's what I noticed about Newcastle now. They're bang at it every game, and because they know as players, if I'm not, competition, Callum Wilson, if he's not scoring, Isak will play. You know, midfield, you've got options. Willock's got to come back. You know, they've got so many options around the pitch.
Stuart Pearce thinks that Newcastle are going to win the Premier League this season. Do you think they will in the next 5 years?
Yes.
Give or take?
Yes.
They're going in the right place.
As long as, obviously, financial fair play, but I think they're going to be clever about how they spend. They're going to buy the right players. They could have easily went and brought superstars. Let's go and get Neymar. Let's go and get this player. No, they're buying players that are not going to be the big-time Charlies. You know, that's what Eddie Howe doesn't look like he'd want. You know, players that think they're bigger than the club. And, sorry, just seen Danny Mills there. Oh, he looks about 70 now.
Danny
Mills
age,
doesn't he?
You sure you weren't looking in the mirror?
No, it was Danny Mills. No, but Eddie Howe doing an outstanding job, mate.
His age. He's always looked old, though, isn't he, Danny Mills?
It's chasing Thierry Henry round, weren't it, that clip? Seen it?
Yeah. And who's the other one at the World Cup? Was it Ronaldinho was chasing?
Yeah.
He's done a lot of chasing.
Yeah, he has.
But that's why the hair falls out.
Yeah, it does. Same here.
What's your reason?
Not enough tracking back.
Let's hear from the manager, shall we? The Newcastle boss, Eddie Howe. He's been speaking to the media ahead of his side's Champions League clash with Borussia Dortmund tonight. He said there's nothing wrong with his team dreaming about winning the competition.
I think you have to be a dreamer, but I think if I can try and add some context to what he was saying, he's saying you're in the Champions League, so you have a chance to win it. And I agree with that, because if you're in a competition, you have to have that mindset that you try and win. You try and win every game and then see where it takes you. That's very much my mindset.
Have they got a team good enough to compete in this competition?
Of course.
And did you think that before or after you saw what they did to PSG?
Not before. There's a clip that was I said before the Champions League started that Newcastle's home form will be hard for any team.
Yeah,
when I saw the group, I says there's big Premier League clubs that can't handle the atmosphere, that crumble under the atmosphere at St James's Park. Happened to PSG. They couldn't go anywhere. They were trying to play. At one stage, they'd 4 up front. I don't know what they were thinking.
You've played at St James's many times. Tell me why. Because there are other big stadiums, of course, with great home support.
Yes.
But everyone I speak to that's played there tells me that Newcastle, I don't know if it's because it's further north and it's colder, but tells me there's something a little bit special about Newcastle United. What is it, Gab?
I think when you play against Newcastle, you've got to think these fans, they're loud, Andy. They're loud. They're closer to the pitch than maybe some in the stadiums. And your away fans that come to help you, they're really the gods. They're so far up, so you got no support there basically in the stadium. And once the players give the fans something to shout about, especially, they don't stop. We saw that against PSG. Players were pressing from the first second of the game, celebrating, winning a tackle, celebrating, pressing anybody on the pitch, and the fans are with you. And it won't surprise me the same happens tonight. Some of these Dortmund players could crumble in this atmosphere.
The weather, does that come into it? It's so cold up there. I mean, we're all used to cold weather.
Yeah, I think it's cold everywhere, isn't it? It's a bit colder, obviously, up there. But just a tough place to play, mate. And I think it was not last season, the season before. Remember, when Arsenal went there and they got turned over with ease.
Yeah.
So I think if they get past the group stage, which I think they will, the next round, there's no reason why with 2 legs, maybe get a lucky draw where you play second leg at home. There's no reason why that fan base can't get them over the line.
I always feel, I'm going to talk about Liverpool now, I always feel that when they've got the second tie at home, doesn't matter what the score is, they've got a chance.
Exactly. That's similar to Newcastle.
Yeah. Newcastle, of course, had an amazing season last season, but didn't have European football. How much will that take out of their season this time around, do you think?
I think it doesn't help, does it, we're looking at the ban for Tonali. He's been
he
so
plays
important
tonight, right?
I think he might play, yeah. But he would have been so important. Do they have to go into the transfer market in January? I think Calvin Phillips would suit Newcastle perfectly. And
Calvin Phillips, say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
I think he would suit them. He wants to get out of Manchester City. And they've been unlucky with a few injuries as well. Botman's missed a few games.
I'm a big fan of his.
Wilson's out now and then. Do they need another striker just in case Wilson continues with his injury problems? So if I'm Eddie Howe in January.
Do you think someone like Ollie Watkins will stay at Villa or move to a big club like Newcastle?
I think Newcastle are not as big as Aston Villa, so I don't think he'd want to go.
I knew you'd part in that.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.